All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Wednesday afternoon, evening. It's after, yeah, it's, what time is it? It is 8:03, so geez, it's later than I thought. Did a little bit of miniature painting and thought I would whip out a quick video because one of my Kickstarters came in today. And I gotta say, I've done a rant on my Discord channel that I'm really kind of done with supporting Kickstarters. I'm just really tired of the wait. You know, there's a big difference. You know, there used to be a joy before Kickstarters when you'd walk into the local game store and you'd see a game on the shelf and you'd get excited because you really didn't know anything about it, or maybe you read a little bit about it or whatever through Game Trade magazine or through maybe a video on YouTube, but you didn't really you didn't know a whole lot about it. And so of course when you got it and you saw it on a shelf, you were super excited and you bought it and you enjoyed it, and you know, you had a cool game to read. For me, and I'm not saying everybody, but for me, Kickstarter's kind of drained that joy away, because most, and not all, I don't want to say all, there's been a number of Kickstarters that have fulfilled early, or what I should say is quickly, and I got the product shortly after I paid for it. The guys at Slay Industry, Nightfall Games, Star Anvil Press, certain Savage Worlds titles, Cubicle 7, although I can't remember Cubicle 7 really doing a Kickstarter. I think they promote their stuff really well. But anyway, my point being that not all Kickstarters are evil. It seems like a lot of them are like the indie small publishers, sometimes the big ones. I know Ulysses Spiel's Torg and Fading Suns took a little while to fulfill. Not horrible, but it did take a while. For the amount of money we spent, like for both of those Kickstarters, I spent well over $200 each, and I waited a couple, like 2 years, maybe 3 years to get, 2 years I think maybe, to get my stuff, which is an awful long time to tie up $200+, and then on top of that add shipping, because they never include shipping. But anyway, I don't want to ramble. I don't want this to be a rant, but what I wanted to is to bring awareness to those who haven't done many Kickstarters. Is be aware you are, you know, Kickstarter, and they tell you right up front, Kickstarter is not a store. You are, you know, promote. I'm peeking pretty hard here, so let's change that a little bit. Test. Okay. You're promoting or helping to promote and advertise and fund the development, design, production of, and all of that entails in a product, whatever said product might be. So back in 2020, I kickstarted from Blaster Light Productions out of Poland. I kickstarted Orbdice, and it's this really cool concept of round dice and all these cool designs and colors and schemes, and they were round, so they were supposed to be unique. And then they funded a tray, which you can see the tray there on the cover, and the point of this tray was you can keep your dice down in the bottom here, and then you put them up here, and you kind of give them a little spin, and they roll around this thing, and then they kind of stop, and then they roll out into this tray right here, and then you can see what your dice is. Now, I will say, packaging, this is retail packaging. I think it looks great. The unboxing and the taking the product out of the box was very satisfying. Here's the tray. So again, it's just ABS plastic. It feels like it does adjust a little bit, as you can kind of hear, but it's made to sit at an angle so that the dice can roll, and that's as high as it lifts. I kind of wish it went a little higher, but I do get the feeling that if I bend it too much, it's going to break, and this is just cheap plastic. I don't want to say cheap, but it's, I mean, it'll stand up to a fall and everything, but yeah, it's not made to move much more than that. But it is very nice. I do like the concept and the whole orb tray thing. And, you know, like I said, the dice roll around and they come out here. You store your dice here. So it's a nice concept, and I like it, and it does work. I will say it does work. This is the packaging for the dice, and I got the yellow dice, and it's in a hard plastic little box. It's very difficult to open, which is why you'll see it's kind of cocked open. So when you open it, and this is ABS plastic again, so it's going to stand up to a little abuse. But you can see it's got a nice textured inside there, and I believe this is made to sit inside of here. Yes. So you can see you have your dice sitting there, and when you need to roll a dice, you just pick it up, and it will fall in, and then it goes into the, well, let's see, yeah, you can see it that way. So you put it in, and you let it go, and then it'll fall into that tray, and then you read it. The dice are weighted. I don't know if you can hear that. So they're kind of a rubber, but like when you drop them, they just thud. They don't really bounce. They kind of stop, maybe a little bit of a bounce, but then they stop. And they're made to the way there's compartments on the inside of here, and it's made to so when they roll, they just kind of, I don't, you can't really see that, but you can see they don't roll too much, as you can see, and then they stop. So with the Kickstarter for $80, I got a D2 or a D1. So it says 0 on one side, 0, and then 1. And this is the yellow. And then, of course, you go to a 4-sided die. And, of course, they're and then whatever the highest number is on the die, it's some claw marks. And there's so I got a D2, D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20, and a percentile, a 100, a D1, a percentile die, your tens die. So you can roll that in the D10, and you can get a number between 1 and 100. Now, I'm going to say they're very nice. I like that it fits inside the little tray here. The marketing and the packaging on this is great. My problem with this is I paid for this in 2020. We're now in 2024. I just got them today. And there are people that are still waiting for these things. They haven't gotten theirs yet because they've had so many manufacturing delays. And the part that, I don't want to say upsets me, well, I'm going to say it upsets me, annoys me to no end, is when they did the Kickstarter, they had prototypes. And of course, they show a video of them rolling the dice and them not going. And if you didn't read super carefully, and I guess that's the first thing, is if you're going to back a Kickstarter, read the whole page. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Because like in this case, I was bamboozled by myself because I didn't read everything. Because evidently they were not ready for production. I kind of took it as they were. And that we'd be getting these in December of 2021, which is what the Kickstarter page said. So I just took it at face value. Well, silly me. They didn't have anything developed. This was just a drawing. It was kind of a rough prototype that they had. Nothing had been actually laid out. They had problems sourcing this. Is, of course, all made in China. So there were delays and everything, COVID. I get it. But I'm so sick of everyone using COVID as an excuse. COVID's been over pretty much 2 years now. What happened to the last 2 years? It's just, I don't know. I assumed, and that's a horrible word to use when you're talking manufacturing and production and sales, I assumed that this product was ready to go to market and I would get my dice in December. They said they had some manufacturing left to do. Well, it turned out to be a huge nightmare, and there were delays after delays. And to be honest, I kind of sort of forgot about this, but I'm the type of person that I go in and I check my Kickstarters kind of regularly. I haven't backed anything major lately, and I haven't backed anything at the physical reward in probably close to the last year. I'm very jaded. There's very few things I'm going to back at a physical book, and plus prices for books have gone through the roof, and I get it. Everything's gone more expensive, so I'm choosing to not back nearly as much stuff. Just because of the expense of it. And plus, I'm rapidly running out of room. This is my basement. It's only so big. I can only, stock so many books. And while I do collect and I do enjoy a variety of different RPGs and dice, I have to vote with my wallet. So I'm going to be honest, I was disappointed in this. The dice are smaller than I thought they were going to be. I thought they would be slightly bigger. They're not. They're the size of pretty much a standard D20, maybe a little bit bigger, but not by much. Now I've got meat paws, so, that probably doesn't help. But yeah, they're kind of on the small side. I will say the yellow color is vibrant. I don't think they're going to peel or shade. I have noticed, though, when you roll them a couple of times, sometimes you do get like a middle number where it doesn't come up exactly. It'll come up between two numbers. And of course, now that I'm trying to do it, and it was with the percentage dice that I noticed it. And now, of course, I'm rolling it a bunch. Oh, no, that's not the dice's fault. That's cocked. The argument is that you're not supposed to have any more cocked dice. And then, unlike like the D100, the old Chessex die that rolled forever, this one is not supposed to. And I will admit, I did get what I paid for. Is it worth what I paid for? I don't think so. I think waiting almost 3 years for it, well, technically it was promoted in 2020. They said it would deliver in December of 2021. So it's 2.5 years late, roughly, a little bit more, but 2.5 years. And here's the sad part. In Kickstarter terms, that's okay. And here's my problem. It's not okay. I tied up almost $100. Well, probably over $100 because the dice were, I think, $78, and then there was shipping coming from Poland. So probably right at $100, maybe slightly over. But my point is, I waited almost 3 years for something that is a novelty. I don't need it, and now I kind of find myself that I don't really want it. Is it cool? Yes. Do I feel like I got what I paid for? Yes. Do I feel like I waited entirely too long to get it? Yes. Do I feel like I was misled from the Kickstarter page? Yes, I do. I feel like they made it seem like everything was done and all they had to do was print, and sort the manufacturing. And it sounds like, from the way I read it, from all the Kickstarter updates, they didn't have manufacturing set up. Or if they did, it fell through. There was a number of excuses that went back and forth. And, I'm happy to have it. Am I going to use them? No, probably not. I hate to say that. I'm playing Pathfinder, and they really don't fit the Pathfinder theme. I mean, the neon yellow and the black, the bumblebee. I mean, it's nice. I dig it. I don't even know if that's the color I ordered, because to be honest, I just don't have the gumption to go in and look. I know I ordered a set of dice. I just don't remember exactly what set. I don't even know if I got all the rewards. I know I got the orb tray, and I got I got the D2, or the even odd die. So I guess my point to this whole tirade is just be careful with Kickstarter. I'm still waiting on pixel dice. That's been like almost 5 years now. We still don't have anything to show for it for 4 or 5 years. And yeah, we're sitting on vaporware now. And of course they were showing production pictures and they're working on it. I did get an email that said, they're almost ready to ship, and, to verify I paid for the shipping, but those were $200 for a set of Bluetooth rechargeable dice that I should be able to use with Foundry. I've installed the Pixel app on my phone. I have a Pixel phone from Google, so I think it's kind of appropriate. I'm really excited about the dice because the point is they were supposed to have integration with Foundry, and you could roll physical dice and it would show up in Foundry. How freaking cool is that? Now I don't expect everybody to go out and buy a $200 set of dice, but the fact that I GM a lot, and now I can use physical dice, which I adore rolling, in a role-playing game on a virtual tabletop, is just, to me, super cool. So, but we're still waiting on it. We haven't seen or heard anything. That's just been, kind of one excuse after another. Manufacturing delays, COVID delays, shipping delays, and that was another one that they made it seem like they had working prototypes when they did the Kickstarter video, and you watch them roll the dice, and you know they lit up and they were showing integration with Foundry, and now we're getting all kinds of excuses. So my point is, I applaud Kickstarter for little companies like Broken Rat Games, Jay Lasarde's game company. It used to be formerly Feral Games Inc., Star Anvil Press, Wicked Games, Wiki Snappers game. I can't think of the name of the company right now. What is it? Sunflower, Project Sunflower. What is it? Oh, geez, I can't. Where's the name? Faulty Wire Games. You know, Faulty Wire Games, you know, that kind of stuff. Without Kickstarter, those guys wouldn't exist. Jason at Earl of Fife Games, you know, big supporter of the channel. Wiki Snapper, big reporter of the channel. Brandon, a big supporter of the channel from Broken Anvil Games. All these guys would not have these games on the market if it wasn't for Kickstarter. So I get the point of Kickstarter, but I just wish there was a way that we didn't have to wait, or I wish Kickstarter would put some sort of stipulation on designers and service providers of some kind that says, you know, you can't come to Kickstarter until you're 90% complete. You know, if you're doing an RPG, and you know, this is not just related to RPGs. This is electronics. Video games are huge. Board games are huge on Kickstarter, and there has been a number of people that have been burned by board games and or computer games that have just turned out to be vaporware, and the money just went and everybody just disappeared. So it's a buyer beware. You know, don't spend the money if you can't afford it. Look into the Kickstarter person, the designer. Are they established? Do they have the proper funding? You know, yeah, they're coming to Kickstarter, but why are they coming? If it's just to fund art, if the game design is done, if the production is done, and all they need is the art to plug, because art is expensive for a role-playing game, then fine, maybe take a chance. You're probably pretty good, but make sure they have a viable product for you to download. Most companies will provide a PDF, you know, a play test document or a primer, you know, and then they just, you know, but be wary of the, you know, I need your money to help finish the game. The manuscript is 80% written. That's a red flag. You know, don't go to Kickstarter unless it's completely written. You should have a product and you just need the money to get the production to print, you know, and maybe pay for some art. There's no excuse these days with, you know, public domain art and a lot of free art. You can find art, and you can find artists that are willing to work for free. Is that a set of headaches? Sure, because artistic people are flaky in and of themselves. The internet is full of memes of, you know, starving artists. Why are they starving? Because they don't work fast enough. They don't work hard enough. They don't work long enough. It's not to say they're bad people or they do bad work. It's just art takes time, and there's only so many hours in the day, and sometimes the artists may overextend themselves. You know, there's a million and one excuses or problems that arise from making art. So I'm kind of babbling here, but I want people to, if you're thinking about jumping in and supporting RPGs on Kickstarter, make sure you do your homework. Are they established? Now, again, a lot of them are beginning designers that this is their first game, you know, but guys like Jay Lasarde, you know, Broken Rat or whatever his new title is, you know, he had like 5 or 10 games that were available. Oh, someone's giving me oh, it's me doing the thumbs up. The camera recognizes. Oops. You know, he had several games that were on DriveThruRPG before he ever did his first Kickstarter. So go research them see if they've got something on DriveThruRPG. Reach out to them and say, hey, how much of the book is done? Can you show us progress pictures? You know, if they're willing to do all of that, then they're probably reputable and will provide a full product. But, you know, again, buyer beware. And I just, consider this Mr. Mean's public service announcement to beware of Kickstarter. Support the things you love, of course. I'm not telling you not to do that. What I am saying is buyer beware, and be aware Kickstarters take a long time to produce, to come through. A lot of these guys don't have the capital. They don't have the money to, do a 20, 30, 40,000, $100,000 print run. And, a lot of people are getting stuff printed in China because it still costs a lot, but they can get more bang for their buck. But there's printing here in the U.S. There's printing in Canada. Companies like Castles and Crusades, Troll Lord Games, they do all their printing here in the U.S. I don't know how they do it. They do successful Kickstarters. They print their books, and you get them relatively quick. So if a company like Troll Lord Games can do it, and they're like a 2-3 man company, they're not WotC, they're not Paizo, and they produce their books in a timely manner. They have everything pretty much done, and they send it off to the printers, and then they get it. So I don't know how it can do. I would like to sit down and talk with the Chenault brothers and maybe get some ideas behind how that process works and how they seem to be very prolific at it and do such a good job. Because every Kickstarter I've backed from Troll Lord Game has always been timely and come in looking amazing. So I'm not quite sure how they do it, but they seem to get it done, and I don't understand why it takes other companies 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get stuff done. So just buyer beware. I know this video is a little bit of a rant. I'm sure it's gonna offend some people, and I'm sorry, but I just wanted to get it off my chest and say, don't be a Mr. Mean and order something that you're going to wait too long for and then just lose all interest in it. Another one like that was the card game from Green Ronin in their Mutants and Masterminds universe for, I can't even think of the name of the card game now. It's a really cool card game at the time, but since I've moved to Minnesota and I've been down to the cities many times, I've been to the Fantasy Flight Game Center where they play a lot of Magic and card games and Star Wars and role-playing games and everything. I've yet to run into anybody up here that even knows the game or plays it. So, there's $100 and something that went right out the window because the card game is sitting over on the shelf. Where is I know it's up there, so maybe it's not. I don't. Oh, there it is. Sentinels of the Multiverse. Sentinels of the Multiverse. It's right there on the shelf. Collecting dust. And I bought the huge collector's box with all of the, original Sentinels of the Multiverse because it's an awesome card game. If you've ever played it, it's amazing. It's really fun. And you can play up to 4 or 5 people. You can even play 6. You just let one person play the bad guy and one person play the environment. But I'm ranting right now. But again, another card game that I spent a crap ton of money on, and I'll probably never get to play it because nobody has any interest in it up here. When I lived in Texas, there was a group of us that played it, but even then, it was waning back then. And I lived in Texas 7 years ago. Almost 7 years ago now. So it's a dead card game, even though I think they're still producing stuff. But Green Ronin took so long to fulfill, and I don't know why. And I'm friends with those guys. I know them. Green Ronin paid for me to go to Gen Con a couple years in a row. I have nothing but love for them. But, a bad product is a bad product. And if you've got to wait 3 years, 4 years to get what you paid for, to me, it's not worth it. And that's just a bad run Kickstarter. And this is Green Ronin. I mean, they're known to be slow. So I don't know what I was thinking. So it's kind of on me at that point because I know they're slow to produce. We've been hankering for new Mutants and Mastermind stuff and new Fantasy Age stuff and Expanse and, all their other games. And we've gotten very little to nothing. That's because it's a 2-3 man company and they only have so many hours in a day to work. But again, ranting. I hope you found some value in this. I just wanted to pump out a video. I will say that coming soon to a channel near you, yes, I was sent an early copy of Cthulhu Tech, The Shadow War. This is version 2.0, and I will be giving it a review. The art in it is fantastic. This is the playtest, you can download it off of DriveThruRPG. You can use my affiliate link. It's free, doesn't cost you any money, but tell them Mr. Mean sent you. I'll be doing this review probably this weekend. I've been reading the primer and, of course, the full book. The full book is missing a lot of art, and it's got a lot of placeholders and things like that, but it is pretty much the full manuscript, and I'm looking very forward. I was a big fan of the first edition, and so I'm super excited to see this, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I do. They're about to go to Kickstarter. They're waiting to get, this is a company that's doing it right. They're waiting to get everything together, and then they're going to go to Kickstarter so that they can just get the money to print. The art, the layout, the design, the text, the game mechanics are all done. They're ready to go. They're just fulfilling art, and they're going to, you can see there's some art in here, and they're just waiting to go to they're going to go to Kickstarter, I think the end of this month or early September. They're going to go to Kickstarter, and then it's just going to be the money to fund the print run, and of course hopefully put some money in their pocket. So if you can support it, keep an eye on it. Go download the primer from DriveThruRPG, and I will see you guys in the next one. So as always, as Mr. Mean is wont to say, thank you so much for watching, for listening to me rant. You guys are awesome as always. So with that, like, subscribe, support the channel via Patreon, Discord, buy me a coffee, whatever you can do. Thumbs up if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one. And as always, Mr. Mean says, be nice.